Good morning, my friends, and welcome to this episode of Healing Your Codependency. I'm Marshall Berkshire, and I'm your guide in transforming that codependency into confidence, belonging, self-worth, and satisfaction in your world. Today, we're going to talk about how to navigate disappointing other people and how to navigate the discomfort of that and the resistance that comes with it, and often the people-pleasing impulse that comes out to try to fix this. So, I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to navigate this and connect you with some tools to help you put this into practice. So let's start off with why disappointing others has so much power for us. In codependency, we are looking for 3 things: safety, sense of belonging, a sense of worth. And when disappointment comes into the picture, it threatens all 3. And this isn't just a imaginary experience for us. We've learned to connect threat with disappointment because disappointment came with threatening behaviors, actions, and outcomes. In other words, someone took their disappointment towards us, weaponized it, and harmed us with it. So we learned real time that there's a real risk here, a real risk of being discarded, a real risk of being humiliated, a real risk of being made wrong and bad and vilified to other people. There's a real risk of some kind of harm or verbal, emotional abuse that comes in with it. So yeah, no wonder disappointment feels scary. Further, we have been raised and conditioned to believe that our worth is dependent on the approval or satisfaction of the other person. So when someone's approving of us, they're happy with us, we feel this huge sense of value, like we've succeeded, and that maybe we're safe. Maybe we can be ourselves a little more. But when that disappointment shows up, it craters that worth. That worth evaporates, and it becomes filled with shame, guilt, and fear. No wonder disappointing others is such a petrifying experience. Our sense of safety is put at risk. Our sense of worth and identity is put at risk. Our sense of belonging and connection is put at risk. Because we have never really experienced someone being disappointed in us and them maintaining a connection, maintaining warmth, working to understand where we were coming from, allowing us to understand ourselves, allowing both of us to understand each other and work that out. We don't come from a prominent, dominant experience of that. That may have happened at times, but they are so rare they didn't make a big impact. What made the impact was the discard, vilification, being attacked, being withdrawn from, excluded, being judged, things like that. So the pain we carry and the fear we carry around disappointing others comes from valid, important, and real experiences. We're not making this up in our head. This is something our body has come to understand as a real possibility for it because it's gone through it. And that's been my experience with disappointing others, is it can be very, very intense because that disappointment activates old traumas that are asking to be cared for, nurtured, and finally brought to rest. Now, ultimately, what we want to be able to do is access the pain and fear, shame and guilt that might come in with disappointing someone so that we can process it and bring it to rest. My Actually Heal Trainings course guides you in that process. So if you want to check that out, go to my website at healcodependency.com and go up to Specialized Focus Courses in the menu, and it'll be right there. But how do we navigate this real time while we're doing that other work, right? How can we respond to disappointing others in a way that doesn't give ourselves up, doesn't give into the people-pleasing impulse, doesn't crater our worth, empowers us to become more comfortable with that discomfort of disappointing others and maintaining our position and point of view in a way that's healthy, in a way that's honest and has integrity with ourselves, our values, and allows us to show up the way we want with others. That's been one of my biggest goals is, hey, what I do and how I do it disappoints people. They're not very happy at times with me. Sometimes I'm not happy with other people, right? And that's one of the, I'll throw that in here too, because I have 3 tips. I'm going to add another one here. One of the things that really helps us is is giving ourselves permission to also be disappointed in other people. Rather than being the nice person, I can also admit, hey, that's disappointing to me. That over there is what they did there is their behaviors towards me are disappointing. When we grant ourselves the permission to also be disappointed, it tends to equalize the playing field and lower our anxiety about it. So that's your bonus tip. So let's get to tip 1 here. Tip 1 is let's acknowledge and allow the discomfort of disappointing someone else to be there. Let's allow whatever shows up, the discomfort, maybe the hot flash of shame or embarrassment or self-questioning shows up, all that energy gets kicked into gear. Let's acknowledge it. Let's allow it to be there. Basically, we pause to notice what's showing up. We acknowledge and name what's showing up, and then we observe it. This allows these emotions to be known, to be connected to, rather than like pushed away, rather than immediately brought into some kind of programming we have about trying to regulate them or change them or convince ourselves it's something else. Instead, we can get in contact with that energy, validate that energy. Hey, you're here. I see you. You're real. And I am with you in this experience. This allows us to build that warmth and connection with ourselves that helps our emotional experiences find soothing, find shelter, and ultimately begin to discharge and heal. So again, tip number 1, acknowledge and allow that discomfort and all the feelings that come up with someone being disappointed in you to take up space, to be known, to be allowed. Allow them to be okay to be there. You can use my pause, acknowledge, and observe practice to help you do that. The link is in the description below. If you're listening via the podcast, healyourcodependency.com and go up to resources, to the library, and you can get access to the tool there. Tip number 2, practice a bit of trust that their disappointment doesn't put you in danger or makes you wrong. What this does is it helps us start to acknowledge that, hey, I have resources that can help me generate safety. Like this person's really getting, actually behaving in dangerous ways. Rather, I can step away. I can leave. I can give myself that power. In that moment, we may not have that because our body will probably brace or fawn, and that's okay. But once we're out of it, we can start to acknowledge and care for it so that we have more power to act on our own behalf by leaving those kinds of situations. And then also in this is just because someone's disappointed in what we did doesn't mean what we did was wrong. Doesn't mean that what we did has to change. I've learned a lot in the last 3 years on this. I can do me. Someone else can be disappointed in me. I can understand where they're coming from. I can empathize with that position without having to change me. Because a lot of times what I may have done touched on a painful place in them or changed the way they view me, and now they're having to work through that perception. And maybe they need a little care there, just some acknowledgement that, yeah, I get why you're disappointed, and I'm willing to talk about it if you are. So we don't make them wrong because we don't have to make ourselves wrong. If I'm not making myself wrong, I don't have to make them wrong or right either. Instead, I get to be like, yeah, this is where I'm at. I can see where you're coming from. And then we can proceed from there based on, what is needed and what's being asked for there. So it's always worthwhile to trust just a bit that their disappointment's not putting you in actual danger, unless it actually is, then you get out. And then it's not making you wrong. The majority of disappointment from other people that we're going to encounter is not putting us in danger and does not make us inherently wrong. It's just there is an event happening emotionally between you and this other individual that can be understood, cared for, and maybe we can get deeper understanding about our own intentions behind things and see if we can build better clarity between each other. So step 2 is that. That brings us to step number 3, and that is release the significance you give to their approval. This is where our worth is often tied up in other people. That's the significance we give. It's like, oh, their approval means I am okay, lovable, valuable, wanted, important. These are all expressions of worth. Social worth, internal self-worth, all of that. And when we give another person's perspective, presence, actions, emotions, connection, that kind of significance, it becomes very scary to be ourselves because we instinctively know there's a risk that they won't like what's going on, that there will be disappointment, that there will be a mistake, or that there will be an impact made. By releasing the significance we give to other people's approval, we become freer to be ourselves. It also helps us start to autonomize our worth from other people, places, and things. This opens the gateway to connecting with our indomitable worth, which is the worth that we are made of. It's our intrinsic value. And it's from aligning with, tuning into, embodying, and being that worth that we become who we truly be in this world. That's the big work we work on in the transformation course. It'll be opening up for early enrollment here in April, and it starts in August, so we got some time on that. My friends, significance is often what brings us enormous amounts of anxiety and panic when it comes to disappointing other people. So we can release that. So how do we release significance? I have a tool for that. It's called the Releasing Significance tool. It's in the description here on this episode, or it's on my website at healyourcodependence.com. Just go to resources, library, and type in significance, and boom. But the goal here with significance is, and releasing significance, is to view the experience without making it important to your worth. It's just like, what shifts if I trust that this person's disappointment doesn't define my worth? Another question there, what shifts if I trust just a bit that this person's disappointment does not affect my worth? Another one you can use is, what shifts if I trust just a bit that this person's approval is not significant to my worth? So there's different ways to approach significance and releasing it. But this allows us to give this variety allows us to explore what really works for us, number one. And two, we can then experience what it's like not to put so much importance or weight on their approval. It's just kind of, okay, they didn't like it. That doesn't really mean anything about me. Interesting. So what is my intuitive approach now? How do I want to show up here? This allows us to get more in tune with who we really are, with our own values, and how we want to show up in our life. My friends, navigating disappointment this way empowers you to be more of you, show up more as you truly want to be, so that you can then connect with people who resonate with who you are, and you can build real friendships, real relationships, real opportunities in your world. So in a way, being ourselves will automatically produce some disappointment in others in the world, and that is okay. It's a necessary part of filtering people in and out of our world, so we know where people belong and we know who we can lean on and build connection, community, and relationship with. So in a way, people's disappointment in us is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a means of understanding where they relate to you and you relate to them, and a means of getting clear about where you want them in your life. So this helps us break free of the people-pleasing habits, the niceness habits, the toxic accommodating habit of not rocking the boat, not having necessary conflict in our world. When we embrace our innate ability to tolerate disappointment and the discomfort that comes with it, while keeping our sense of worth, while staying in trust of our own position, our own wisdom, our own direction, we can thrive. So that's today's episode. Thank you, my friends, for showing up. It's a heads up, the Nurture course is starting here March 17th. I'm looking for 25 people that want to join and they want to heal their emptiness and their loneliness and begin to experience warmth and belonging in their life. So join us there. The link to enroll is below in this description and on my front page at healyourcodependency.com. Again, March 17th, all classes are on Sundays at 12 p.m. This course comes with lifetime access to the live classes as well as all the recordings, so you can log in and watch it at any time 24/7. It's $297. So yeah, 10 weeks long. Come join us, heal that loneliness, and start to experience more warmth and belonging in your world. So again, healyourcodependency.com or in the description below. Go gently with my friends with this work. Let me know your thoughts on today's episode in the comments, and I will see you in our next episode. Okay, bye-bye. So thank you for watching this episode. And you want more episodes like this, check out the recommended video above. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and if you're ready to take the leap and heal your codependency, check out my workshop linked below on how to heal codependency permanently. Then you can understand how I help you restore safety, connection, and worth in your life, and how that liberates you from your codependency and empowers you in creating the relationships, the satisfaction, fulfillment you want in your life. So check that out below. Thank you again for showing up, guys. Bye-bye.